Hey guys, how's it going?
How's everyone doing out
Happy
there?
Wednesday, August 18th, 2021 for John and Madeline's Immigration Q&A.
That's right. Welcome everybody Wednesday night, and we're also welcoming our fans on TikTok here. So
Hey guys, how's it going?
you see me looking to the side throughout the evening. That's because I'm monitoring the questions coming through on TikTok. So how's everyone doing?
Hopefully you guys are doing well. Put in the comments, give us a thumbs up if you're doing well. We're doing great. We're here as we are almost every week to answer your immigration questions and give you guys weekly immigration updates.
Yep.
We changed the date, the actual day around a couple of times, but I think we're pretty much set on Wednesday. It's a good day for us. So
Yep.
Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Actually, create an event in TikTok, which I didn't even know we could do. But hey, I'm learning things every single day. So I'm Madeline Mendoza, and this is my husband and law partner, John Gardner. We are the owners and attorneys at Gardner and Mendoza Immigration Law, our physical building. Physical plant is located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, but we represent clients in all 50 states and all over the world. We're immigration law firm, of course, so that's what we do. And we've been doing live stream for since February of 2020, February 19th, 2020. Right.
So we come to you once a week. We like to meet for about an hour, and we give you some updates, and we answer your questions, and that's the main thing. So if you have immigration questions, we want to make sure that you get them posted. If you're on TikTok and you want to bring us questions, you can post them there. We do encourage folks to come through the Facebook live stream because it's easier for us to see. It's easier for us to monitor. We can also post the question up so everybody else can read it, because sometimes your question may not get answered, but then you might find that somebody else asks a question that's very similar to what you were trying to figure out. I will tell you as a warning that what we do here is for educational and informational purposes only. It is technically not legal advice. All right.
That's right.
That's my disclaimer.
That's and our lawyers, they tell us to say that. Our one lawyer.
That's right. Our
so lawyer. I saw a question on TikTok, and it says, how do they get in touch with us? Do you want to give that
best way to contact? You can call us. Our phone number is area code 757-464-9224, or you can email us info@gmlaw.net, and you can direct message us as well.
That's right. You can. I don't know if this is just for dating, but you can slide into our DMs. I don't know. That's what I've seen. You can slide into our DMs at through Messenger, on Facebook, and through TikTok. Now, I am the only one that's taking a look at our direct messages on TikTok. So I do it as much as I can and try to keep up with the questions there. Actually answer the questions in our direct messages. So if you want to get some of our team to get involved in your question, if I'm not answering you, I apologize. There's a lot of questions. Please send them through Messenger, our Facebook Messenger. It's at Gardner Mendoza Law. So hello, everyone. We've got people actually registered for the TikTok live, which is super cool. 26 people registered. And of course, we have our tried and true on Facebook. But my Tita Miriam is here from California, watching from California. Hi, Tita Miriam. Great to see you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a long time. My mom is here too. She came on, some of you guys may have seen my post, but she came on Friday. And so she's home. She's at home, and it's so wonderful to have my mom here and for my mom and dad to be together. So anyhow, hello to Elsa. Hello to Karen. Hi, Karen. How are you? Yeah. And of course, all the folks on the TikTok, there's a lot of people. So we are going to, we're going to do a couple of updates. Well, we may just jump into questions, and, but the first thing that we like to do is kind of do, an inspirational immigration story. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about a new friend that we have met, and her name is Khadijah. She is a chef, and she cooks for people and she's a healer. She's a body healer. She's from Morocco. She I don't know how old she is. We're probably around the same age. But she immigrated to the United States from Morocco. She has no idea that we're talking about her tonight. But Khadijah has come into our home and cooked for us a couple of times, and it has just been absolutely amazing. And she is on Facebook, and she's based out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. So if you guys need someone to help you out and to feed your family really wonderful, healthy, nourishing foods that are just prepared with so much love, positive energy. And I know some of you guys are like, what is she talking about? But I think that it makes a difference in how the food tastes and how the food is prepared. And she is just amazing and I'm not just saying that because I love to eat, I mean, it's true. Anyone who gives us food, provides us with food, we love them even more. We know our clients give us food all the time when our office was open, but all the time when our office doors were open pre-COVID. But I just want to give a shout out to Khadijah. She is very inspiring to me, absolutely to my family. She made so much food. We actually called neighbors in from across the street, like, come taste this food. It's amazing. She made a beautiful soup. She calls it the solstice soup. And it's kind of a combination of like Moroccan lentils and the Indian lentils. And it's got like ginger and carrots and celery and tons of onions, lemon. It's so good. And then she made us lamb, which was John's favorite, some rice, vegetables, and a pudding that was made out of avocado and dates and cocoa. And it was just amazing. So
it really was.
Anyhow, all right. So that's my shout out to Khadijah, the chef. Check her out on Facebook, guys.
She's a real professional. I mean, she just comes in and boom,
she comes in and she really helps us out with the food situation at her house. But hello to everyone. Simply Rachel, hi. Harshan, how's it going? I'm sorry. I think I saw that your dad passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that. A lot of love and prayers to you while you're going through that. And yeah, Ursula, the menu was amazing. All right, so we're gonna jump right into questions, and we'll throw some updates in.
Yeah, we'll pepper some updates in between. Before we get to the questions, the one thing that a lot of people are always asking about is, the big immigration reform. And I'm not even going to really talk about that tonight because I do every week try to give you a little bit of update. I can tell you right now, as most of you know, that the situation in Afghanistan has just taken all the attention from everything else, and understandably so.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
So the update is that in Washington right now, I wouldn't expect a whole lot to be happening with much other than a lot of talk about Afghanistan and what can be done there. So I will keep you posted. Maybe next week there'll be something more to tell you, but right now that's taking up all the oxygen. Okay.
Yes, we will keep you posted about that, and that's just a real crisis going on over there right now. And related to that, just really quickly as well. Yesterday, actually Tuesday evening, the district court for the District of Columbia ordered the Biden administration to issue 9,095 diversity visas from fiscal year 2020 that the court reserved about a year ago. And these 9,095 diversity visas were not used because of the Trump April 2020 immigration ban. So those visas are now going to be used, even though the time has passed. And that's awesome for the people who, kind of going through this emotional roller coaster of being picked for the lottery and then not being able to use them. And so we'll keep you posted as far as processing as to how that's going to play out here every week when we get word of it. But that's definitely going to help some folks in Afghanistan who received those diversity visas. So hopefully they'll be doing more humanitarian things for those in Afghanistan. But we're closely watching it. So our prayers go out to everyone who is struggling with that. And it's a lot of people. All right.
Okay.
Questions?
Yeah, we've got some questions on TikTok already.
Okay, but
you want to post one of these?
Well, you know what? Bernadette, I don't know if Bernadette's on. Hopefully she is, but she emailed us some questions yesterday.
Okay.
And so people who email us the questions,
oh yeah,
yeah, I mean the priority, you know, we love our Facebook fam. But I'm gonna answer her questions really quickly. You can read them and I'll answer them.
First question. My son has a U.S. visa. If he wants to study in the U.S. in a master's program, does he need to apply for an F1 visa in the Philippines?
Yes.
Or can he tour the U.S. then apply for an F1 here in the U.S.? Which is the best route to take?
So you cannot come to the United States on a tourist visa with the intent to apply for a student visa. So the best route to take is to apply for a student visa in the Philippines. Of course, it's not best probably for processing and speed, just because you know there's backlogs there. All right, answer that right. See how fast I answer that? Amazing.
Yeah. Number 2.
All right.
Can an asylee study and take up a master's program in the United States?
Yes.
Question number 3. Can a green card holder file for a petition of his or her spouse while the spouse is here in the U.S. vacationing?
Yes, with a little bit of a warning. Again, what I said in the first question, you cannot come to the United States on a tourist visa with the intent to get married to your spouse here in the United States. And it's especially touchy for the spouses of lawful permanent residents, okay? Because lawful permanent resident spouses are not immediate relatives of U.S. citizens, of course, because they're not U.S. citizens. And so you really have to be careful with that intent and the timing of filing that. So I'm saying yes right now, because currently, and it has been for several months, the visa bulletin is, USCIS is allowing us to use the final action. Okay, this is like really technical, but you can, but only because the visa bulletin is current for F2A, the spouse of a lawful permanent resident. F2A is also the spouse and child under 21 unmarried of a lawful permanent resident. So yes, that can happen. Be careful with timing. I wouldn't just go blindly file this.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Be careful with the intent. Like Radlin said, you know, you don't want to be saying that what's the purpose of your visit? Oh, I just want to enjoy the beautiful beach in Virginia Beach and do some surfing. And then they call a relative and they say, yeah, oh, yes, he's finally here for the proposal and the marriage.
Right.
This is not good.
Absolutely. Okay. It's a misrepresentation. It's a misrepresentation. So.
Okay. So that answers that question.
All right. Let's see if we have any questions here. Yeah. I said hi to my Tita Miriam. Hello. I wonder if my mom's watching. I should have told her to watch. I try to get mom and dad to be on this Facebook Live. Maybe next time we don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is in their house.
We really don't.
All right. So Charity has a really good question. Charity is from Facebook. Here, a question on Facebook. So guys, again, there are a lot of questions. And so if you want us, we're really, we're looking at all of the questions. We're going to try to answer all of the questions. But if you want to hop on at Gardner Mendoza Law on Facebook, like our page, and pop your question in, we'll throw it up on the screen and get to that. All right. Here it is. Would it be quicker to get married and apply for a marriage visa than apply for a fiancé visa? That's the first question.
It's the first question. And just so you all know, this is a question that we get every week.
Every week.
It's a very common
multiple
question.
Times.
Yep.
And understandably so. Understandably so. Okay. During this, number 2, during this pandemic, can a married person who is waiting for their immigration visa come through be able to visit the USA direct and quarantine as per the state you are in, even if they are in a country which is a restricted level? Gotcha. All right. So let me answer the first question, the second question first. During the pandemic, can a married person who's waiting for the immigration visa to come through be able to visit the United States in quarantine as per the state you are, even though they're in a country which is a restricted level. So my understanding is you can quarantine, as Charity is saying, in another country that does not have, that where there is no immigration COVID ban, and you can quarantine and enter the United States. We've had clients do that. The part of this question is, this person is married and already is in the process of going through that immigrant visa process. So what is immigration going to do about that? You're coming in, maybe it's a visa waiver, maybe it's a tourist visa. Are they going to have an issue with that? Now, I think that it's going to be okay. Now, again, this is not legal advice, but from what we've seen, we prepare our clients, right? We prepare them for that trip. If it comes up, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm coming to visit my spouse. Your spouse, okay? What's your spouse doing? Your spouse is a U.S. citizen. You have to be upfront and honest with the person who's asking the questions at immigration, at CBP. You tell them why you're coming. Coming for a short trip. I'm going to be here for just a couple months. My plan is to go back. I know that I haven't the immigrant visa process pending, and I know that I have to go back for my interview, but I'm not trying to do it here. Otherwise, I would have just come and done it here. So we really try to have our clients prepared for that. And we provide also kind of the back pocket letter from us saying, hey, we're representing them. We've advised our client that he or she has to go back. They're going through this immigration visa process and so on and so forth. So that's question number 2. The first question is tough to answer right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
right now it is.
I do feel for people who are trying to make this decision as to what to do. And I know you guys rely on us to help you make that decision. Is it quicker to get married and apply for a marriage visa than apply for a fiance visa? If you're talking about total time to get the green card, my opinion is that in the end, it is quicker. All right. If you're talking about time to come into the United States and be with your loved one, your future spouse, if it's fiance, I used to just hands down say the fiance visa without any qualms. But I have issues about the fiance visa right now. It's not, I don't think it's on the same level with regard to processing in the whole triage of backlogged visas. So it's really tough. It's really tough to say, because if you file your I-130 petition and it goes to a service center that's taking forever and ever and ever, it's a really, really hard situation. So we have clients that after we explain this to them, they roll the dice and go for the fiance visa. I have a client right now trying to get married back home in South America. So, and that was, based on her circumstances, that was my advice to them, to that couple. I mean, I was on the phone. I was doing a FaceTime meeting with them for, over an hour, trying to, get all the facts and the circumstances to, okay, what do you think is going to be better? So, anyhow, that's the short answer. And I can't say, hey, I can't pull the trigger and say, hey, absolutely, the fiance visa is going to be faster or the marriage visa is going to be faster. It's just really, really difficult to say because of what's going on with the global pandemic and the horrible embassy backlogs. But Charity, that's a great question. We appreciate it.
And we feel for you. You've been apart 2.5 years. It's been awful. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really hard. And while you're talking about coming in, I will throw in one of the updates was that the Biden administration did announce that they're going to be putting in place a plan that will require all foreign travelers into the United States to be fully vaccinated for COVID-19. So anyone who does know somebody getting ready to travel, you may want to keep that in mind and watch that. Okay.
All right. What else do we have today?
So
is it me, or did we turn the AC off?
No, we may have been.
Somebody help! Turn the AC on.
So one of the questions that came through very quickly on TikTok right when we started, and I don't know the answer to this, maybe you do. Can a dual citizen adopt a child in the Philippines and then petition after the adoption process is complete in the Philippines?
That's my number one TikTok. Is it the number one TikTok? I think it's the mostly the one TikTok is highly viewed. How to petition or niece or nephew. Dual citizen, that's not relevant that they have dual citizenship. The person is a US citizen. Yes, you can. You can adopt a child and petition for that child, but you have to meet some requirements. And the biggest hurdle and requirement to meet is you have to physically live and reside with that child for 2 years. Okay. So when I tell people that, some people are like, oh, no problem. I've already resided with the child before I immigrated to the United States. That was my child. Someone, and I have no idea if this is the same situation, but there are so many scenarios like this in the Philippines where a lot of our adoption cases are derived from, and it's, oh, someone dropped this baby off on our front stoop, and we just took the baby in as our own. Didn't know we had to go through this formal process, but you do. So again, that can be done, but you have to make sure that you have lived with that child for 2 years, that you have legal custody of that child for 2 years prior to the age of turning 21, and that you adopt the child prior to the child turning 16. So if the child is 16 or older, then it's too late to adopt the child unless you've adopted one of their siblings. So there's a lot going on there. And so you should call us if you need some help with that or any additional guidance, but it's a great question. All right.
Okay. Does the Fianc Visa process really take 2 years right now?
It can. It can. Guys, there's over, and we misspoke, and it was a gross error. But I think I said that maybe there's a 500,000 backlog in only the U.S. Embassy in Manila. I think I may have said that, and that's
not
correct.
Tonight.
Not tonight, a different night, like two weeks ago. But that's not correct. The good news, it's not 500,000 in just that one embassy. The bad news is still there's a 600,000 plus backlog for interviews right now. So can the fiancé visa take 2 years? I mean, would it take 2 years for your fiancé to actually be in the United States? That seems a little bit long. Is that the question, or is it the green card? The green card, absolutely. It takes two plus years from the time that you started this process.
Fiancé visa process.
Oh yeah. From beginning to end. Again, guys, there's multiple steps of that fiancé visa process. The first step is just filing the I-129F. That right now, I just looked at processing times is 6.5 to 10.5 months. If you're in California, it's 10.5 months. So, yeah, it can take that long. Long answer, short, long answer. All right, hold on a second. All right, Ursula has a question, and I would need to look this up, Ursula, or you could look it up. How long is it taking for the I-130 petition to get approved these days? U.S. citizen petitioner to stepchild in Mexico. It depends on where the case is. So it depends on the service center. So you take a look at basically, and I mentioned this last week, you Google USCIS processing times. It will take you right. It'll be the top, take you right to where you can look up USCIS processing times. Then it will tell you to put the form number in. So you put the I-130, you pick I-130 as the form, and then it will ask you where this case is, what service center. You put the service center in, and then it will have the different categories. In this case, it is the child of a U.S. citizen. I don't know how old the child is. Maybe the child is under 21, and that's typically faster. And it will show you the processing time. So if you still have trouble in finding the answer to that after what I just told you, just shoot me a message and I'll look that up for you. If you tell me how old the child is and where the service center is. All right.
Okay, so here is a question, and this is again something that we get fairly often. This is a pretty common question. This is a person who has a girlfriend who is somewhere, not in the United States. It doesn't say what country, but they've been together for a year. It's a long distance relationship, and he wants to get her here.
Okay.
What's the best way for him to do that? And
sorry. Sorry, guys. We're having a technical difficulty here of that. I don't know. It's 90 degrees outside. And then for some reason, the AC does not doesn't seem to be on right now. Or is that just me?
I'm not particularly warm, but you know, you're talking a lot more than I am.
What's happening? Is there a heater on me or something? All right. So how do you?
This is the question we get all the time, and thank you for the TikTok questions. This is the girlfriend question. This is the person who says, "Hey, I've got my girlfriend overseas, and
it's a girlfriend.
I want to get her over here. How do I do it?"
Okay, so again, there are generally speaking a couple of ways. Let's just assume this person is a U.S. citizen. If you are
the person here,
the person in the United States, right? Right, not the girlfriend.
Just to be clear,
if the girlfriend was a U.S. citizen, then
right.
Then she just needs a passport. So if the person is a U.S. citizen, then there are two options. The first option is to get married and file the I-130 petition and do the immigrant visa processing. The second option is to file the fiancé visa, but you have to have seen the fiancé within the past 2 years. Those are very, very basic requirements. So those are the first steps.
Okay, so the first steps could involve taking it from a girlfriend relationship to something more.
Right, to fiancé. So, a lot of times we get the question of, can they come in on the tourist visa? Somebody, that was the very first question. Can they come in on the tourist visa? And we do this. You can't come in on the tourist visa with the intent to do this.
Right.
I mean, you just shouldn't. That could just cause all kinds of problems, namely a misrepresentation at the airport. That's the main concern that I have. I mean, if you're here and your intent was, came in to marry my U.S. citizen spouse, we can fix that if you're here, but we can't fix a misrepresentation if the Customs and Border Protection says, "Hey, what's the purpose of your trip?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm coming to a conference."
Yeah, like we were talking about.
Yeah, right. So that's the issue. I mean, listen, guys, a lot of people do it. If you are in my office and you've done it, great. But we can't say, yeah, you can do that and you should do that. I'm not going to say that.
My advice is going to be this, and I've said this before. If you have a significant other, you're a U.S. citizen here in the United States, you've got a significant other that's in another country outside of the United States, and that person is extremely important to you, of course. It's your girlfriend, fiance, whatever. What could be more important than getting this right? So I would recommend that you contact us and at least have a consultation with us so that you don't make any missteps that could be fatal, because it's a tricky situation and there are a lot of pitfalls that you can have along the way. And there can be nothing more important to make a small investment for than getting this one thing right, is how I feel about it. And so if I were any of you in that situation, I would at the very least schedule a consultation so that you know exactly what you're doing and that you don't make a mistake with it.
Right. And as we say every week, it doesn't have to be with us. Sometimes you're more comfortable with.
Doesn't have to be with us.
Someone who's not on Facebook Live every week, or someone who's right in your backyard. A lot of our clients, we've never even seen it. So many of our clients, we don't see a lot of our clients, but they feel comfortable in working with us. But you may not. Like, you may feel like you want someone right in your backyard, and that's totally fine. Use what we're telling you guys tonight, as just sort of a springboard to get the help that you need.
Right. But this is not a place for you to be skimping and pinching the pennies. This is not the place to do it. Okay. And by that, I mean, your immigration case is important. It's like the most important thing that you have going on, other than maybe your health or a health of a loved one. Okay.
Yep.
It's not the place to skimp and try to do it on the cheap and then make mistakes and get it wrong and then have a major fatal problem that can't be fixed. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth what you're going to save. You're better off to talk to a professional who knows what they're doing, whether, like Radlin said, whether it's us or someone else that's an immigration lawyer. Make sure that you talk to them and get this right, because it's really important. Okay.
I'm kind of smiling here because
the heat.
It's not about the heat, no. I feel like I've cooled down for whatever reason, but I also just want to throw in there, only based on our most recent experience of, we're not the cheapest law firm in town, right? And it's fine. You can go to the cheapest law firm in town. John and I just went to the cheapest fencing company in town. And are we paying for it? Yeah. Really?
Still don't have a fence and had to hire a better fencing company.
Well, we had to hire somebody else to fix it because our fencing guy never communicated with us. I mean, we built a pool and we have this liability because we don't have a fence around it. We built a pool and it's been months and he's not contacting us. We actually had to sign another contract. He put up part of the fence. This other fencing contractor has got to pull this other fence out. Like, what a waste of time and resources and money, right? We've already paid for the other fence, right? We've paid 2/3 and got 1/3. Now we've got to pay extra.
And I've invested a lot of time putting up a temporary safety fence. I had to go find all the right stuff.
It took a couple of So anyway, just do your research. That's all. Yes. All right. Just be careful.
All right.
Sorry, that was just our venting about our current little problems that we have.
So if I want to apply for citizenship and I am eligible, could my debts potentially be a problem? I've got some debt.
No, so long as you can answer the questions that dealing with taxes, that you pay your taxes, you don't owe any taxes. And even if you do owe taxes, you're on a payment plan. So no, debts, bankruptcy, none of that stuff is on the N400 application, guys. Don't be, that's a really great question. This person who asked the question, maybe they've been wondering this question for 1 or 2 or 3 years, or maybe they just thought of the question last night. I have no idea. But usually what it is you have this nagging question. You wait to do something until you get the question answered. Hopefully you go and file for citizenship now. I don't know how long you've had that question, but
don't let the debt hold you back.
Don't let the debt hold you back. That's why we're here. And I love that question because I'm hoping that person moves on and says, cool, let me take a look at this application, or let me get somebody to help me with this application and file it. So, and guys, with regard to citizenship, near and dear to our hearts, we really encourage people to file for citizenship. And if you want to have representation and you feel like you cannot afford representation, there are free services on Citizenship Day. Citizenship Day comes every year. It's in February. We will be talking a lot more about it when that time comes. We're really, really heavily involved in the organization of Citizenship Day here in our area, as well as coordinating it in the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So
we encourage citizenship.
We love to make an impact with pro bono work with U.S. citizenship. So please don't ever let the fact that you want representation, but you can't afford it, so you're not going to apply, stop you from doing that. Okay.
Yeah. And if you're a citizen, I mean, in addition to just the general pride in being a U.S. citizen, which is reason enough to do it, but you also then will not ever have to worry about being subject to removal ever again.
Yeah.
All right. Because sometimes people that are permanent residents, something that seems fairly minor occurs and it ends up actually being a major problem, and then they find themselves in removal proceedings. So that alone would be a good reason to naturalize if you haven't considered doing it in the past.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to throw this question up here on Facebook. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. We got married in a different country. USA does not recognize our marriage. We have a 2-year-old daughter that's U.S. citizen too. Right now, I have a 10-year multiple entry visa. But if we we're going back and live in the United States, would be a problem coming to the United States with a visitor visa. What is the best way to go back to the United States? I don't know why the United States would not recognize a marriage in a different country. Like that part is a little bit confusing to me.
Agreed.
So, and then also part of this country, I'm sorry, part of this question is, are you trying to come back permanently? Yeah, I'm a little bit confused, but let's just take some guesses here. Okay. Let's just say the marriage is recognized in the United States. The marriage should be recognized in the United States. There's no reason that a valid marriage in another country would not be recognized in the United States unless it was done like in a backyard and not registered properly. That would be a reason. I think the question is if she came back with her family on a tourist visa and did the process here, could she do that? Again, I go back to what we said earlier, and this brings up one of our cases a while ago, and I've seen like a lot of cases like this, but they actually happen fairly frequently, and that is a same scenario as what Isabel is saying here. This person was married to a U.S. citizen. They had a child together. They all came, the non-U.S. citizen. Thank you, Sammy. Our daughter Sammy's bringing some water, and hopefully turned your AC on. Can you turn Mia's side? Yeah, Mia's side. Oh, it's so hot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sammy. So this family, U.S. citizen husband, foreign national spouse from the Philippines, child. All right. The child is a U.S. citizen. Dad, of course, is a U.S. citizen. Mom is not a U.S. citizen. She's coming on a tourist visa. So they get to the airport. Guess what? They did not let the mom in because it was revealed somehow that they were coming to stay. Right. And the way it was revealed is they called the U.S. citizen parents of the U.S. citizen husband's parents because they were going to go live with them. And they're like, hey, what do you know about your son and your granddaughter and your daughter-in-law coming to the United States on this tour, like they're coming for a visit, or what do you know about this? And parents are like, oh yeah, they're coming over and they're going to apply for the green card, right? So they got shut down. Of course, husband and toddler daughter was allowed to come in. They're both U.S. citizens, but they said that mom had to go back. And in fact, they sent her back. So that's what I'm talking about when I say you got to be careful. They sent mom back. Of course, the daughter went with the mom. Just imagine being on that flight, from Asia, and then having to turn right around after going through grueling immigration questioning and go back. So I would ask, I have a couple just follow questions. Like, I think the marriage is valid. It usually is.
I'm wondering, unless there's something, and we don't know the more details here, I'm wondering if there's maybe a previous marriage that was never properly went through a divorce or an annulment. And so maybe when you got married again, the U.S. isn't recognizing it because you have a prior marriage that hasn't been dissolved yet. I'm just guessing.
Right.
If that could be.
But it's a good question because, we're able to tell that really bad story. And that was a really rough year for that family. We were, obviously able to get the mom back over here on an immigrant visa.
And any of you who have traveled from the United States to Asia and back, you know that when you add it all up, the flight from Norfolk to Detroit, Detroit to Japan, let's say the Philippines, Japan down to Manila, including all the layovers and all the airports, and leaving ahead of time because you got to be at the airport 2 hours ahead of time and all that. Go through customs when you get there, door to door, from when you leave your house to when you check into your hotel.
That's right.
It's like 24 hours.
It's almost 24 hours.
It's almost 24 hours when you add it all up.
If not, it took my mom about that long to get here.
Right.
All right.
And if there are delays, then you're 25 hours.
I'm gonna put this question up because I just want to clarify here. Kelton, he's doing some math here. He's like, this doesn't really add up. So Kelton, it's not just in Manila, it's in all of the US embassies in the world. So that was where that issue was in the math. Right. But
hopefully Kelton is pursuing an engineering
I know.
degree or some
I mean,
such thing.
Kelton probably did this in we don't know. Kelton could be a just assuming. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next question here. I'm seeing what do we have?
So we have a question here from TikTok.
Do you want a sip of water?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. Millie says that I got an RFE annoyed on my I-130.
Oof.
And until now, there's no result. It's been 13 months after our interview. Do we have any thoughts on that?
So first question is, I mean, hopefully you've responded to the RFE/NOID. NOID, guys, is a notice of intent to deny.
Notice of intent to deny.
Yeah.
An RFE is a request for evidence.
Yeah. So 13 months from the NOID. A NOID is very serious, right? It's like they're not even trying to give you a chance to, I mean, they are giving you a chance. It's a shorter time period to answer a NOID. It's only 30 days. Of course, with the COVID timeframe, you got an additional 60. But a NOID is pretty much saying, hey, there's a problem with this case, and this is your notice that we're going to deny this unless you can overcome what we're saying here. Usually it's because they think the marriage is not a bona fide marriage. So 13 months is
after the interview.
I mean, 13 months after the interview, and then you get the NOID. Like, when did the NOID come? 6 months after the interview? It's not unusual. I mean, it's not. I know it's hard to hear that, but we recently had a NOID for a case exactly for that reason. USCIS thought it was not a real marriage, and that's tough to overcome, guys. I mean, it is. I sat through that interview with that couple, and there was some there's some bad stuff in the file that came out during that interview, and it was hard to answer. It was multiple. Actually, we got 2 requests. We got a request for evidence. We answered that, and then they came back with a NOID. Right? They were like, "Oh, thanks for the request for evidence. Our intent is to deny this." We did overcome it, but yeah, it took a long time. It took a long time for USCIS to actually approve that case. So a couple of things could be going on there. That the fraud detection unit may have been contacted, and they might be trying to go visit, or whatever the case may be. This is just an I-130, so there's just a couple of things that could be going on here. It's not. I know 13 months sounds obnoxiously long, but it's not. All right.
Yeah, and so a lot of these questions deal with COVID, and we shy away from those questions because we don't have any way of knowing, how long will this take now with COVID. How about
processing times, guys, are super, super hard to dictate right now, especially when you're talking about, hey, when am I going to get my interview?
Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of the questions.
Yeah. When is my interview? Again, 600,000 people who are documentarily qualified for an interview at National Visa Center are waiting for an interview across all U.S. embassies in the world. So that's a lot. That's a backlog. We just got a notice that they're going to be scheduling an interview. Ciudad Juarez has been horrible. It has been 2 years. I mean, you got just Ciudad Juarez being taken forever anyway, just a year anyway, and then you add COVID. It's been 2.5 years. Like it's insane. We've in our emails, and I get all the National Visa Center emails. We've been getting a lot of emails where they're scheduling interviews, which is good because some of these cases we've been waiting for a year, over a year. And yes, it's because of COVID. It's bottom line. So
yeah.
All right, let me grab this question here real quick.
Yeah.
Let me read that while I look to see if I've missed any.
Yeah. Asking for a friend. He's about to naturalize as a U.S. citizen soon, and his 2 kids were still in the Philippines. Will they fall under the automatic citizenship, or does he need to apply for an I-130 petition for them and go through the whole process?
Yeah, he's going to have to go through the process, but when they get here, I know it's kind of strange, but when they get here, they will be U.S. citizens.
Yeah, and I love the Washington Monument
there. Very nice.
There.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You're a good friend, Paul, for asking this question.
Yes.
All right.
And Lucas wants to know if he can change his name legally at the Philippines Embassy in the United States. Can you do a name change at an embassy?
So, I mean, I don't really know what the question is about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I will say, I mean, you can, I mean, it's easy to change your name. Isn't it?
It's pretty easy, yes.
I mean, if you're a lawful permanent resident and you want to change your name, I would say wait until you apply for U.S. citizenship and do a name change on the N400.
Right.
It's free. If you just want to change your name just for the heck of it, you want to change it to Radlin Mendoza. It's a great name. But if you want to do that, it's pretty easy to do by court order. You just petition for a name change, and it's very straightforward. I don't know where this person lives, but I would take a look at your local laws. Okay. A lot of people kind of get cold feet at the last minute. You know, we do interview preps, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I do want to change my name actually," and then they get to the interview and they say, "No, I'm good with the 6 names that my parents gave me." Some people like they want to just change. They just want 2 names and not be burdened.
Christine here. That's another great name, by the way. Christine, one of my all-time favorites. Names. Christine wants to know if there's a place where they can get help preparing for the citizenship. Her friend's mom tried it. She failed and wants to retake it. And where can she maybe reach out to get some help other than, well, you can reach out to us and we can give you study flashcards. I know that.
So didn't pass the test. Is that
exactly?
Yeah.
Facts.
So with
I think
COVID,
the question is looking like for study help. Like, hey, okay, I didn't pass the test. Is there like a class I can take or somewhere I can go?
There are definitely places where you can get assistance. I don't know of any off the top of my head, but I know that there are a lot of nonprofit organizations out there, even at adult learning centers, that are going through the N400 test questions. There are legal aid places. I mean, there's just a lot of help out there that would assist you in that. Of course, USCIS.gov has a treasure trove of immigration N400 assistance and help with like flashcards, MP3s. You can print stuff out to practice. There are a lot of resources out there. So I would definitely give it another go.
I'm old school. Sure. I still think flashcards are the best way to learn information that you're kind of sort of memorizing in a way. I mean, I know the naturalization test isn't supposed to be about straight memorization, and it's not. But I also know from traveling the world all my life that every time we go somewhere, I'm always reading in the travel books all about the history of the country and the politics of it and the government and the way it's all set up. I'm just very curious about all that kind of stuff. And it is hard. I have to read it several times because when you're approaching a government and a history that you've never seen before, it takes time to sort of absorb it. And I think flashcards are a great way to do it.
Let me answer Saul's question here. I have to remove the conditions on my green card in December. Should I start working on that now? We are represented by Miss Sarah. So yes, if you want to, this question is about removing the conditions on lawful permanent resident card. That's for 2 years. And you can file the petition to remove the conditions 90 days prior to, no earlier than 90 days prior to the expiration date on the green card, the 2-year green card. So yes, now would be a good time to start working on that. So absolutely reach out, and I'm sure Sarah would be happy to help you again. Thank you so much for coming on our Facebook and supporting us. All right.
Okay, do we have any other questions there? We've got one here that's
shout out to Miss Evelina. How's it going?
Hi, Evelina. In 2 parts, but before we get to that question, I did want to just mention a couple real quick things that I jotted down just to pass along. The I-693 is going to be valid for 2 years rather than 4 years.
No, 4 years. 4 years instead.
4 years, excuse me. It's being extended from 2 years to 4 years. It'll be valid for 4 years instead of 2 years. That's health form, so you should be aware of that. And also, there is a proposal right now to overhaul the asylum process to allow asylum officers to approve or deny cases rather than having only immigration judges doing it, to try to speed things up. This is in response to the current situation in the southern border. 210,000 people came across the southern border in July alone. That was the largest number in 21 years.
Wow.
And so there's an effort to see what can be done to try to speed these along. And one of the proposals now is to have asylum officers making those decisions rather than immigration judges. I mean, immigration judges will still be doing it, but help with the bottleneck. Right?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, you ready for this question?
Yeah, sure. Did I do this? Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. I was just making sure I didn't miss any of my updates.
Thanks for catching me. Yes, extended from 2 years to 4 years, not going from 4 down to 2.
Yeah, and that's going to be helpful because a lot of employment-based people may have filed their I-45 with the medical,
right?
Just because they wanted to, but who knows when they're going to get to the case. All right. Next up, I don't think I've missed anything. Saul says, he wrote again and says, this is my second time asking the same question. You guys didn't get it. We got it this time, Saul. Sorry we missed it last time. We appreciate you coming back on and letting us know that we missed it. But go see Sarah.
Okay, so here we go. You ready? Green card expired 2 years ago, and I applied for the I-751 before it expired.
Good. Yep.
I had my biometrics last 2019 and submitted paperwork and evidence. I still do not have any updates from USCIS. Help.
What month in 2019? I'm not laughing, but we don't know a month. Okay, so yeah. It sounds like, I mean, this is common, guys. This is common. This goes to Saul's question as well. Well, I mean, so Saul, a little bit about the time frame. When you file the I-751, you automatically get you'll have your I-797 receipt notice that shows, hey, yeah, you filed it. And it also, that receipt notice extends that lawful permanent resident card for 18 months. It used to be a year, but now it extends it out for a whole 18 months. Now we have the situation where it's now been, it sounds like, over 2 years. And this person, in order to show that she has lawful permanent resident status, if she needed it for her work or for travel, she's got to go in, make an info pass appointment, get a I-551 stamp, extending that green card. So it's a major pain, but it sounds like you might be eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship at this point, the timing wise, because you can apply for U.S. citizenship 2 years and 2 years and 9 months from the time that you get the green card, that first green card, any green card. 2 years and 9 months from the date that you got your green card, you can apply for US citizenship. And you must be eligible by now if you've been waiting two plus years. So a lot of people think they have to get the I-751 approved first before filing the N-400. Go file that N-400. That's going to shake things up a little bit, and move your N-400 may get there sooner than the 751 gets approved. And if that happens, then you have a double interview where you're being asked questions about the bona fide of your marriage, as well as doing that N-400 interview. So your spouse will have to go to that if you do that 751 N-400 interview. So file the N-400. I am sure you are eligible for it. Do the calculation, 2 years and 9 months from the time that you got that first green card, so long as you are, still married to a U.S. citizen spouse at the time of filing and living with your spouse.
Yeah, and Christine came back on this. This is sad. You got to just keep trying. But she said that I think it was her mother who had not been able to pass? Anyway, she's 71 years old and she's failed the naturalization interview 5 times. She's awaiting her 6th interview.
Oh, no.
Sorry to hear that, Christine.
So I'm going to just throw out there, is there can she get a medical waiver? Like, have you thought about getting a medical waiver? Like maybe there is an issue with her ability to read, write, and learn English.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't know. We were talking about flashcards to learn the history.
Yeah.
We don't know what's causing the failure.
Right.
It may not be the history, and it may be something else.
So, I'll tell you a quick story. I was talking to one of my clients, and he had to do a retest as a second test, and he was sitting there with his daughter and his wife, and I'm quizzing him. It's like, did you study? He's like, yeah, he studies, but he can't remember anything. Like, he forgets stuff all the time. He cannot remember. I have to write stuff down for him. And they're just kind of going on about how he just can't remember anything whatsoever. So we had him, we had him evaluated, and he actually had a learning disability that was undiagnosed. And so he didn't have to, we got the medical waiver completed, and he did not have to take that test. So check that out if that's something that could be available to your mom. They just issued new guidelines for that. I have not, I haven't taken a look at the new guidelines, but you definitely might want to check that out if this is the 6th, 7th time that your mom has done it. Yeah. God bless her. That must be so tough, and she must be so frustrated.
Yeah, and reach out to us if you want some help with that. We can do it. What are the ways to contact us again?
So you can call us 757-464-9224, or you can send us an email. Those are the 2 best ways. info@gmlaw.net. A lot of people ask if we charge a consultation fee. We do. It's $245 for up to 1 hour. Usually people have the consultation for 45 minutes to an hour. It's a Zoom call, and we represent people in all 50 states. But those are the 2 best ways. info@gmlaw.net. That's our email. Or you can directly call us. We have a great team, and they will absolutely take care of you.
So if you want to look into some of those options in a little more depth, reach out to us, and we'd be happy to help. We'd love to.
Okay.
All right. Did you want to take
Let's
a question?
See here. How can I go to the United States using my B1B2? I just got my interview, but wasn't able to use it because the pandemic expired a year ago. Just want to, oh, that's unfortunate. She just wants to visit. So it sounds like, Cherry, you did not enter the United States with your immigrant visa, even though it was issued. And in order for you, because it has expired, you'd have to kind of go through that interview process again. If you no longer want to immigrate, okay, and you have a B1B2 visa, I don't really want to give you the wrong information here, but I'm thinking out loud, and I would have to kind of do a little bit more research on this. But why wouldn't you just be able to enter on the B1B2? You no longer are using an immigrant visa. Well, it's in the passport probably, right? So they're good. So I'm just talking to myself right now. I don't know that I don't directly know the answer to this really good question, Cherry. But if you no longer want to immigrate to the United States as a lawful permanent resident, then there's no reason why you should not be able to use your B1B2. But I see what the issue is. If your immigrant visa is still pasted into your passport, I think you'd have a lot of questions there. And I think you just have to be prepared saying, look, I didn't use it. I no longer have any interest in immigrating to the United States. I have my return ticket. I want to see my kids. It's been a couple of years. Here's my return ticket. I brought one luggage. I'm not staying. I have no desire to stay. If I was going to stay, then I would have just come, right? Using my immigrant visa. So that is those are my 2 cents, Cherry. Hopefully that's helpful. But I would kind of like to look into that more, just because I'm not exactly sure. How's it going over there in TikTok world? We are at 1 minute past.
Yep,
Did we answer? We answered the questions.
We have, and we've gotten some folks that have thanked us for our answers. So that's always a great thing.
Thank you guys for being here.
Somebody wants to know, do you have any office in Sacramento? We do not have an office.
We do. It's called the Zoom office.
That's right. Okay.
We do not have a physical office in Sacramento, California.
Yeah.
But we just had a client in Santa Ana become a U.S. citizen, and so we were able to help her. And we're currently now helping her with her children's N600 certificate of citizenship because she became a U.S. citizen. So we can help you. And we do have an office. It's through Zoom.
That's right. If you prefer to sit across the table from someone in Sacramento, then that's up to you.
Yeah.
But you do not have to be physically present here in Virginia Beach for us to help you out. We represent people all over the world. We do it every day.
So yes, some people, our office, we are seeing clients for dropping off documents, but we're doing all of our new client meetings and any interview preps. We're still doing all of those virtually. Again, we represent so many people all around the 50 states and again, in different countries when we have to interview prep our clients who are, getting ready for their immigrant visa interview and embassy abroad. And we really are, talking about just fully going virtual. We've got Miss Evelina here who we met at her interview. And we I think, it was during COVID that she retained us. So she's a U.S. citizen now, but for some reason she still comes on our Facebook Lives. No questions tonight though, Miss Evelina.
We're over the hour. There was one that I'd seen earlier that
I'm going to put Precious Catherine's question up because I like her name. But she's right. I am sure you have answered this question already, but how long is it currently taking for the K-1 visa process with COVID? So it's a hard question to answer, Catherine, because of the embassy backlogs. I can kind of give you ballparks on I-129 F processing times at the different service centers. It's 6.5 to 10.5 months, depending on which service center it goes to. After that I-129F petition gets approved, it then takes a couple of months to go to NVC, and that's where the cases are getting stuck to wait for an interview. I mentioned earlier that there is a 600,000 case backlog across all of the U.S. embassies. So tough to say, dire situation. All right. Okay. Did you say we had another question?
Well, yeah, you did a TikTok on this one, and I just wanted you to talk about this for a minute, if you could, only because it's kind of makes me sad when I hear this question because it makes me realize probably what's going on. But she wants to know if her husband can my husband deport me? I'm a 2-year green card holder. The old, can my husband deport me question.
Yeah.
We see this.
Yeah. So that question we get a lot because people sometimes take advantage of other people. It makes me sad to think about it, just like it makes you sad and everyone here. But I did a TikTok on this. It's really quick, but you do not have to remain in a marriage that's abusive or even just bad, right? If it's a terrible marriage, it's not working, you do not have to remain in that marriage in order to get the conditions on your lawful permanent resident status removed. Now, that said, is it harder as far as getting documents together for that particular petition to remove the conditions? Yeah, it's a little bit harder. Is there going to be an interview where you'll have to answer questions about what happened in your marriage? Possibly, probably. But we just did one actually where there was no interview. There was a divorce. And so, don't stay in a terrible relationship because somebody's threatening that they're going to call immigration. Like if I had a penny for every time someone said,
"No, I know.
Oh, my husband uses a husband because my husband, I don't think I've ever, maybe there has been cases and I'm just kind of blanking out. My husband's going to deport me. He said he's going to call immigration. That just makes no sense to me. Right. I mean, people are just using that as a way to threaten you in whatever situation that you are. And that's just.
And they think they have that leverage.
Yeah. So this happens, guys. I mean, marriages, they don't all work out, right? 50.1% do not work out. And that should not stop you from, the green card should not stop you from getting out of a bad situation. Right. So I hope that answers your question.
We're well over our 1 hour now, but I did want to address that because that's a question that is a pretty common one. And I just wanted Radlin to talk about that for a minute. Okay. Anything else before we sign out of here?
I think we're good. Let me just check my notes real quick to see. Okay. We talked about the DV lottery. Nope, we're good. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We had a great time as we always do. Sorry, I was so hot and thirsty in my own home.
We only go for 1 hour. We're not signing out because there's, the lamb downstairs. That has nothing to do with it, I promise.
I'm not hungry. Like I ate so much at 2 o'clock. I ate so much food.
All right,
but anyway, guys, thank you so much. Listen, sadly, for so many reasons, we are not going to be here Wednesday. We are dropping our oldest daughter off to college next week.
That's right.
She's going to the University of Vermont. We're really proud of her.
Yeah, we are so proud of her.
It's really hitting everyone in the family that this child of ours is leaving the nest 11 hours away from where we are. John and I are trying to just talk ourselves into we're going to be able to explore this part of the country, Vermont and New Hampshire and Maine. But we're kind of sad. And our daughter, who is very, very independent, Mia, she's older. It's starting to hit her. She actually said that she did not want to leave her family.
Well,
yeah.
It's a bold choice, and we're proud of her.
We'll keep you guys posted. I'm going to keep making TikToks though, because won't it be so much fun to make TikToks on the road?
Yeah. So we won't be here next Wednesday, but the week after we will.
Will we be? So yeah. Okay.
8 o'clock. Make sure that you get your questions and get them in early and get them in the Facebook. That's the absolute best way to get them answered. Okay.
Yeah. And listen, if you want to make sure that your question gets answered for the next time, just send it over to info@gmlaw.net. Rhea has put it into our comments there. If you have any other questions, email info@gmlaw over at our website. Okay. So thank you guys so much. 2 thumbs up to you guys.
I do this every time.
Yeah. We almost forgot last time. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a great night. Bye-bye.